From the beginning of my search for Landcruisers, one question is always asked of me. Where do you find these gems? And in some cases, I use that term loosely. There isn't really a formula. Finding a Landcruiser is like looking for anything lost or hidden. You have to sniff them out, hound dog your way through backyards, side streets, open garages, and even online postings. We car guys have developed curious eyes and a divining rod for discovering rusted metal. Once your eyes are trained to look for something old, they never stop. The chase and the find is probably the coolest part of any project car story. When you finally get to the point of searching for a project car, it's often followed by a dry spell. You search the classifieds and come up empty. Your spidey sense for abandoned old buckets goes wobbly. But once you stop your search or settle on something else, that is when they tend to find their way into your radar. That is exactly where this story begins. 2 years ago, I got a link from a friend regarding one of the best Fj60 project finds to date. On a day when the last thing I thought I'd be doing was buying another cruiser for the already bloated fleet. Of course, I went and looked at it, and well, yeah, I bought it. I knew I didn't have time right then, but one day I would. So it went into the one-day corral. From this purchase, I've learned one thing. You have to strike when the fire is hot. When your stomach churns and every bone in your body trembles for the decision, you say, I probably shouldn't. And I don't need this. Then you mutter to yourself, courage, man. Don't be afraid. There is no courage unless you're scared, right? You got yourself a deal, sir. What's best for you? Check or cash? Hi there everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, our focus is going to be this gold 1985 Fj60 that's been lurking in my videos for as long as I can remember. If you've been following the channel for a long time, you would know that I picked this truck up off a 250 acre horse farm and that it is a true California truck living its life here in Virginia. I haven't done much to this truck. I got it running one time and drove it maybe 25 feet and heard a atrocious grinding noise. Since then, it's been sitting collecting dust and becoming one of the world's largest Landcruiser parts storage units, as well as parts holders. So let's see if we can dig this girl out of her hole and put her back on the road. So if my memory serves me right, I changed the oil, put fresh coolant in it, I put a desmog carburetor, and I sort of got it running off the gas tank. We're gonna probably redo all of that and run it off a boat tank 1000. So let's go get the boat tank. All right, 55, we're gonna borrow your boat tank real quick. It's the boat tank 1000 right there, and the filter. Good. Gas tank is installed. No big deal, no bungees needed. So right now what we're doing is I'm disconnecting the lines that actually run to the gas tank. I'm sure that gas tank is trashed. So what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be the return line, which we just hooked up. This is what's gonna suck the gas into the carburetor from the fuel pump. So you get the boat tank in here, stuff those both in there, and put a battery on and see what happens. I'm most certain that this battery does not have any charge in it. At least it's a gold one. I'm gonna put an interstate in that I also took from the 55.
So I'm gonna do the right thing and not clean this out before we start getting it running. Just gonna shuffle things to the side, make enough room for me to sit in that seat. And we'll probably drive down the road like that. Just a reminder though, if you do need some parts, I got them. Yeah, we're in here. Jeez. Sweet. Awesome, that was an easy detail. If you guys are looking for somebody to detail your Fj60, my email's in the description below. No, honestly, you guys know this truck's gonna come back and all this stuff will disappear within time, but there are tons of parts, so if you do need something, please reach out to me in the link below. I probably have it. So let's give her a go. Put some 2+2 in there. Gas tank's hooked up. We're just gonna see if she makes any noise. That was a quick revival. Let's see if this old girl will pull out of her hole. Gotta move this 62 right here that's been sitting in front of her for a while. So let's get her out. Stuck in her hole. She does not want to come out. She's still sleeping. So that tire is super flat. Up, but we drove. Been sitting for like 2 years. Sounds like garbage. So this is the farthest this truck has moved since it's been in my possession. It's in front of the shop now, and you could feel when you're driving that it was dragging. And as you can see, it's on a jack right now. So what happens to these trucks is that the parking brake mechanisms in the back sometimes freeze. I'll show you an example of that freezing. As you can see, this tire is not moving at all. So there's a mechanism right under here, right there, that freezes. That's the pull. There's a cable that runs the whole length of the axle to either side and holds the parking brake. So what we have to do to get this freed up is we're gonna hit this mechanism after putting some penetrating oil on it. Kind of brings the shoes back out and the tire will now spin. Had to do that to both sides. So this cable here is a mechanism that holds that together. As you can see now, it is nice and loose. I would suggest after you do that, do not pull your parking brake cable unless you have all that stuff worked out and lubricated. So the truck will finally move again. So I'm going to do the right thing and not work on getting this to run better and get a bucket and wash it, because I've been wanting to do that for the last 2 years to see what I really actually bought. We're bringing out reinforcements. There was too much growth on this truck, so we needed bigger hands. Oh, the wonders of washing a vehicle. I think this truck has come a long way since this morning, and it was in the middle of a field in a hole. So we still have a ton of work to do on this one. We're obviously going to polish the paint out, really make it pop. But right now she is coming back to her former glory. After washing the old girl yesterday, my excitement levels have gone through the roof. The most unexciting part of this whole thing is trying to figure out where all that stuff's gonna go today. I guess we'll just put it in another truck. The rear of this truck is finally clean. Anybody's looking for parts, I have a whole field full of them, so please let me know. Trust me, I probably have it. So all the stuff is out of the truck now. There are a few items that are still in here. That's because they're gonna be used for this build, like the original air cleaner. This is an AC compressor that is not locked up because the one on this truck is. A carburetor that we're gonna be rebuilding for the 2F, as well as some wheel caps. The rear carpet that actually came with this truck just needs to be reinstalled. And most of you might be asking what happened to the giant pile of parts that were here. Well, we moved them from one Landcruiser storage unit all the way strategically packed into another one. So if you need something, it might take a minute to find it. But it's good to know that you can pack a whole nother Landcruiser into the back of another one. I'm not sure why these sheepskin seat covers were so popular and why they're still on here. They're just hard, sun faded and everything else. I think the only place that they deserve to be is the blue filing cabinet. Of course, I know I'm hating on these seat covers, but they certainly did do their job because these brown Fj60 seats are in immaculate condition. Even considering this driver's side seat does have a small rip, but they're awesome. So here's a quick fix. I have explained this little trick in other videos, but as you can see, this crank window handle is broken, so we need to put this brown one on. How do you get that off? If you've never done it before, there is a little clip just like that behind there. So there is a good way to do that. I'm just using an old school rag. A bandana works best, but if you put that into this little crack here and you pull on the back end of the clip, it'll pop that clip out. You should be able to get that right off. So you can see that little clip is in there, but it grabs onto the fabric and you're able to pull it free. So we can put the new one on. Nice. So now that we have some leg room throughout the entire truck, it's time to start ripping out the interior, which kind of pains me because this truck is super original, but it did live some of its life on a farm and it shows. It's a complete mess inside. I think the best piece of fabric in here are the two front seats because they had seat covers. So we're gonna get that all ripped out, vacuumed, cleaned, and see what we really have under that carpet and hope that we don't need to buy a new one. Seat number one is out. And this is one of my favorite things that I always say, all the lovely trash that's in here. A pen. Oh man, I made 35 cents already. Sweet. Band-Aid. Is that a hair curler? I don't know. So if anybody watching has an early Fj60 console, I definitely need one. The cup holder is broken off, as well as the hinge. It's all broken back here. I just went through the process to find one of these for the tan truck that we just finished up. So if you have one, comment below. It'd be a huge help. I mean, even in this truck, it's so original. There's no crack in any of these seat belts or anything. I mean, that is rare in itself. Everything is there, including all the dirt. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. Under carpet number one here. Ah, dang, I was hoping for some gold bars. Just more dirt that needs to be cleaned up. Great. To say how dirty this truck is kind of an understatement. The entire interior is basically pulled and ready to be cleaned in here. I'll tell you what, you guys that like sunflower seeds, gotta find another place to spit them. Over here we got a lot of dirt and stuff. So that's probably why that stuff collects back there, and that's usually where all the holes start on these trucks. Over here in this corner, down here in these seams. So you can see that all this stuff on this truck is completely clean and beautiful. There is not a single hole in sight in the floor. So we're gonna clean all that up in the weeks to come to ensure that it stays like that. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this week's Mize adventure. As you can see, this truck has come a long way since we pulled her out of her hole that she's been sitting for the last 2 years under her own power earlier this week. As you can see, we've cleaned up one mess, but we're slowly starting another, and don't worry, there is so much more stuff that needs to be done. We've already gone ahead and made a cardboard list of some of those things for the upcoming weeks. Some of that stuff's going to include a carburetor rebuild, a manifold gasket, sealing up all those vacuum leaks, and figuring out what we're going to do with all that smog equipment so we can get this truck running the way that she deserves. Moving forward, if you like this type of stuff, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, like and share these videos, as it keeps me motivated to keep on getting back out here and getting these old girls back on the road. Another note that I'd like to bring to the table is that tan truck that I've been working so hard on for the last couple weeks is going up for sale this next week, and I might be doing a small little episode to feature what she looks like at her final state. So stay tuned and remember to subscribe so when you know that video comes out. Cheers, and we'll see you next week.